today our group is here to give you information, history, traditions, and the culture of the Tinguan tribe. After this discussion, we hope that all of you learn to appreciate and respect our indigenous group of people in the Philippines. My name is Ivardonera Joseph,
My name is Churchill Paronda.
My name is Hazel de los Reyes.
My name is Charlene D. Demeterio.
and we are going to be reporting about the Tinguan tribe. So, the Tinguan tribe, also known as the Integ, are a group of Austronesian ethnic groups that primarily inhabits the mountainous province of Abra in northern Luzon, Philippines. They are known for their distinct culture and traditional crafts like weaving, basketry, and the rich system of indigenous beliefs and rituals that blend animism, ancestor worship, and Christianity. Through, though often grouped with the border Igorot people of the Cordillera, the Intig maintain their unique cultural identity, which includes traditional music, elaborate weaving patterns, and a history of both relative isolation and adaptation to the outside influence. So the key aspects of the Tinguan or Integ culture are location. So in location, they reside in the mountainous area of Abra province. Though they can also be found in parts of Kalinga, Apayao, and the Ilocos region. And yung language naman nila is they speak Enteg language, which is a big part of the Northern Luzon subgroup of Philippine languages. Yung social structure naman ng Tinguan tribe is characterized by a strong village-level organization and practices a complex system of rituals, including those that mark social functions and celebrations. Their beliefs, on the other hand, are spiritual life that is rooted with animism and ancestor worship, though they also incorporate elements of Christianity. So their arts and crafts are the Integ are known for their intricate weaving featuring sacred patterns like pinilian or binakol and their skillful use of rattan and the bamboo basketry. Yung mga pinagsasabi ko ngayon are just general explanation ng tribe. This will be explained later by my group mates in better words, you know. So their traditions naman are practices such as the inum or peace pact sealing and alatiu or reciprocal feast, highlighting their communal values and traditions. Yung history naman ng Integs are for centuries, the Tinguan or the Integ tribe lived in relative isolation, preserving their indigenous customs and traditions. Over time, they have assimilated external influences, but they continue to uphold their unique cultural heritage. So, yung next naman na mag-explain ay si Hazel.
Okay, so moving on, we have the history of Tinguan tribe. The Tinguian tribe, also called the Integ, are among the indigenous peoples of northern Luzon, particularly concentrated in the province of Abra in the Cordillera region. Their history reflects a life deeply connected to the mountains, rivers, and forests that surround them. Before the arrival of the Spaniards, the Tinguian lived in well-organized communities, practicing agriculture, hunting, and weaving. They developed their own system of governance and preserved a rich oral tradition that guided their customs, customs and beliefs. When Spanish colonizers arrived in the 16th century, the Tinguan resisted foreign influence and remained largely independent in the uplands. Unlike lowland groups who were quickly absorbed into colonial system, the Tinguan maintained much of their indigenous identity. However, there were still some interactions with Spanish missionaries and traders, which introduced external influences in their religion and economy. Despite these changes, they continue to safeguard their rituals, burials, practices, and community tradition that remain visible up to the present. The Tinguan are also well known for their elaborate beliefs in spirits and deities. They practice animism, where they believe that natural elements such as rivers, mountains, and trees were inhabited by spirits. Their traditional ceremonies, led by shamans or mabaki, were central to their way of life. These practices highlight how their history has been shaped by a deep respect for the natural world and the unseen forces around them. Next is the origin of the Tinguan. The name Tinguan is derived from the word Tingue or Tingi, which means mountain or upland. This reflects their ancestral home in the highland areas of the Cordillera. They are also called in Itneg, a name that some scholars say comes from I or people, and Tineg is the river in Accra, showing their close association with the land and waterways in the region. These names emphasize their identity as people of the mountains and rivers. Anthropologists trace the origin of Tinguan people to the Austronesian settlers who migrated to the Philippines thousands of years ago. These early groups traveled by sea and eventually settled in northern Luzon, adapting to the rugged landscape of the Cordillera. Over centuries, they, they developed unique cultural traits that set them apart from neighboring tribes, while still sharing common Austronesian roots with other indigenous people. Next is the arts and crafts that will be discussed by Evardone.
So, for the arts and crafts of the Tinguan tribe, the arts and crafts of the Tinguan or the Integ people in Abra, Philippines include intricate textile weaving like the pilian and the binakol, which I mentioned earlier, and the embroidery or the akinamay. Using traditional patterns with symbolic meanings, they also craft furniture from native woods, produce everyday items and furnitures from bamboo that creates baskets from rattan and also bamboo. The Tinguan people are also known for their natural dyeing techniques, using plants to create a wide range of colors for their textiles. So textile arts, they have weaving, embroidery, symbolic motifs, and natural dyes. So yung weaving, the Tinguan weaving is famously known for its complex patterns like the pilian, which features motifs such as human figures, animals, and stars, and the binakol, which is an optical weaving pattern or technique. The embroidery naman, or dakinamay embroidery style is used to visualize tribal myths and lineage on the fabric. Next is the symbolic motifs. Embroidery and weaving patterns such as the depiction of rice or sinanpagay, human figures or sinantao, and frogs, which is also known as sinankalasag, hold deep cultural meanings. Natural dyes naman, on the other hand, are Tinguan artisans who use plants like mahogany, jackfruit, and ginger, and malatayum, or which is also known as indigo color, to produce a wide array of textile colors. Their other crafts include bamboo craft, The Tinguan people are skilled in crafting various everyday items and furnitures just from using bamboo alone. It is a practice that led Abra to be known as the bamboo capital of the Philippines, actually. And next is a basketry. They create function and ceremonial baskets from materials such as rattan and bamboo. Next is woodcraft. Furniture making with native hardwoods such as mahogany is another important craft. They also have cultural significance, which are crafts that are vital to preserve their Tinguan culture, mythology, and traditions for future generations. Woven and embroidery pieces that are used for symbolic items in rituals as status symbols of the community. So next part of our reporting is going to be explained by Charlene, and it is the music and dance of the Tinguan tribe.
So, the music and dances in Tinguian culture is deeply rooted to the traditions that serves as a means of preserving the heritage, expressing their identity, and strengthening their bonds. And also, music and dances of Tinguian, it is not just for entertainment, but the essential elements for their spiritual, social, and cultural life. So here are the roles of music and dances of Tinguians. So, so first is the symbol of unity. This is a form where people bringing other people together, fostering a sense of being part to the community. Next, number two is storytelling and expression. Through movements and melodies, it imparts the historical events and moral lessons that reflect their way. And number three is identity and pride. This is to strengthen the unique tradition and identity of Tinguian people that distinguish them to other indigenous groups. Next is number four is rituals and ceremony. Music and dances play a crucial role in various rituals, just like wedding and harvest celebration that often performed to honor Kabunian. Next, lastly is number five, cultural preservation. Music and dances help to pass down the traditions, beliefs, and stories from the next generation, ensuring the continuity of the tradition that they inherit to their ancestors. And there are some of the ceremonial ritual dances in the Tinguian culture. It is called the dawak. Dawak is a ceremony conducted by a couple after many years of being barren. This starts with a bignas or Thanksgiving event. Then the walk starts. Baliwes, Tadik, and Denglala dancers take part in the dance, and then an elder shout his paliwat or prayer for the couples to bear children. Old women butcher a chicken and offer to the couple's departed ancestors and sought their intercession for a fruitful marriage. Aside, aside from a meal and basi or sugar cane is served. And last example of the ceremonial dances of the Tinguians is Tadek. Tadek is a traditional custom of the communities to celebrate every important events with songs and special ceremonial dance. Tadek is a unique traditional dance performed by men and women to express their jubilation over victory, courtship, marriage, Thanksgiving, and other important events. It is danced to the rhythmic beat of gongs and drums played by the community members in squatting position on the ground. Tadek was later recreated as a form of thanksgiving to their patron saint, Saint Gabriel, and it became an annual celebration after the community was Christianized. It symbolizes harmony uniting the people as one. And now that we all know about the history and culture of the Tinguians, we can now proceed to a tour around the exterior design of the Tinguian house.
So I will now be explaining the front elevation of the house. So first of all, guys, I'm gonna give you a brief summary or explanation ng mga ginagamit na materials ng mga Tinguens. So, yung traditional Tinguan houses, which is known as Puebluan, house materials, first is the adobe or mud bricks. They are a main material used in traditional Tiguan homes, made from a mix of mud, water, sand, and straw, molded into bricks and dried in the sun. Adobe retains heat in winter and stays cool in summer, ideal for desert climates. It sometimes is used in foundations or walls depending on the local availability, combined with the adobe strengths and structures. So, as you can see sa front ng bahay namin, we use their traditional we use the traditional design of the Tinguan's houses which is usually meron silang mga stilts and naka-elevate talaga sila because usually yung mga houses nila from the old times are ganyan. We just use modernized materials while also incorporating traditional materials that they use, like stones for the base of the stilts. And we also use bamboos to be used as like their flooring because yun yung mga ginagamit ng mga Tinguans that they use. We also incorporated some Filipiniana materials like the use of the copy shells, which is well known for its durability and its aesthetics, and it shows the Filipino culture. The roofing uses bamboos too. That is also a traditional roofing used by the Tinguans, which is durable and is very light. We also designed steps that goes up to the main entrance of the house using, of course, bamboo too, because it is the most commonly used material of the Tinguans. We also incorporated brushes or grasses for the protection of the roofing and some clay plasters to be included on the walls that makes the house more durable and resistant to weathering like that. And now for the next part of the elevation.
So I will be discussing the right side of the Tinguan inspired house. And we have several architectural features demonstrated with the integration of cultural tradition and also with environmental adaptation. So first of all, as you can see in the elevation of the structure, um, it has wooden stilts and is clearly visible. This design element is a defining characteristic of Tinguan dwellings, serving both practical and symbolic purposes. Functionally, it protects the household from seasonal flooding and it improves air circulation beneath the flooring. It also provides storage or working space. Symbolically, elevation reflects a separation between the domestic sphere and the ground, which in many indigenous traditions is associated with the spiritual and natural world, according to Mabika's Foundation 2020. The walling utilizes timber materials and is consistent with the Tinguan reliance on locally available forest resources. The choice of wood is not only does not only ensure sustainability but also aligns with their value of maintaining harmony with nature. And on this side, the openness of the design is also evident, allowing for effective ventilation and natural lighting, which are critical in the humid tropical environment of northern Luzon. The steeply pitched roof, extending prominently over the right side, highlights another adaptation to climate. Its gradient facilitates efficient water runoff during heavy rains, while the extended eaves provide shade, creating semi-sheltered spaces that blur the boundary between indoor and outdoor living. The right side view encapsulates how Tinguan architecture is both environmentally responsive and deeply rooted in cultural values, and it embodies a balance between practicality, spirituality, and ecological awareness. And with understanding of the right side elevation, let me now turn it up over to Charlene for the next view of our elevation.
So, as you can see, when we observe the rear side view of the Tinguian house, we can see both the functionality and cultural values embedded in its design. So, first, you'll notice that the entire house is raised on wooden posts or stilts, of course, just like in the front. This is to protect the home from flooding, wild animals, and insects, while also promoting air circulation underneath to cool down the structure. And the area beneath the house is visible from the back. It is often used for storage of tools, firewood, or even livestock pens. The rear wall of the house is usually made of lightweight materials like woven bamboo or sawali. It is supported by a hardwood frame. The exterior features of the walls are slightly outward at the base. It is a feature that adds structural strength and sheds rainwater effectively. You'll often see a small rectangular windows or vent openings in the back wall. This help with cross ventilation and let in natural light, especially in the kitchen area, which is often located towards the rear. So from the rear, we also see the roof structure more clearly. The steeply pitched roof, often made from nipa palm or kogon grass, extends beyond the walls to protect against rain and harsh sunlight. The extended eaves provide additional shelter for the rear entrance and outdoor work areas. So, in essence, the rear side of a Tinguian house reflects the practical and sustainable lifestyle of its people, designed for ventilation, safety, and daily living, while still deeply connected to the natural environment and community traditions. So now that you know about the rear side of the Tinguan house, let's have the last side or view of the house that would be presented by the next presenter, which is Hazel Reyes.
This elevation showcases the traditional architectural style of the Tinguian tribe, an indigenous group from Abra in northern Luzon. The design reflects their close connection to nature and their practical way of life in the highlands. The house is elevated on strong stilts, which serves multiple purposes. It protects the family from floods, wild animals, and insects, while also allowing air circulation underneath to keep the interior cool. This feature is a common adaptation among indigenous tribes living in mountainous and riverine areas. On this side, you can see the steeply pitched roof, which is not only aesthetic but also functional. It allows rainwater to easily run off during heavy rainfall, a necessity in the Philippines climate. The roofline also highlights the Tingian's craftsmanship as it is carefully constructed from natural materials available in their environment. The walls are patterned with traditional wooden panels and intricate woven designs, symbolizing the tribe's artistry and cultural identity. The elevated staircase leading to the entrance represents the welcoming gestures of Tingian, while still keeping the home private and secure.
Moving on into our conclusion, our model house represents far more than a traditional Tinguan dwelling. It serves as a living reflection of the tribe's traditions, values, and way of life. Through our presentation, we began with the wait, ulit ba? Ulit. Kasi yung ano, screen. Sige, sige.
Pagkatapos yung dalawa mag-explain, magdadagdag din ako.
Oh, sige.
Eh, si Hazel,
Summary ako.
magdadagdag ka ba di, Hazel, ng ano?
Summary ako, summary.
Yung,
Pinaka-last.
Oh, sige,
ano?
ikakat ko muna pagkatapos namin mag-conclusion ni Charlene.
Sige.
Okay, ulit, take two. Moving forward to our conclusion, Our model house represents far more than a traditional Tinguan dwelling. It serves as a living reflection of the tribe's traditions, values, and way of life. Through our presentation, we began with the origins of the Tinguan people and then examined each side of the house in detail and finally offered a 360-degree view to show how every angle reflects the ingenuity and cultural depth of this community. The architectural choices are both practical and symbolic. The raised stilts, for instance, highlight the Tinguan's deep awareness of their natural environment. These stilts provide safety from floods and animals and improve airflow beneath the structure. And it even serves as a functional space for storage and work. And at the same time, the elevation can be understood symbolically, as it separates the household from the ground, where a space often associated with spiritual and natural world. The steeply sloping roof reflects the community's adaptation to tropical climate, ensuring efficient water runoff during heavy rainfall, while the wild eaves provide shade and create usable outdoor spaces. Meanwhile, the reliance on natural materials such as wood and bamboo demonstrates not only practicality but also the Tinguan philosophy of living harmoniously with the environment. These choices reflect sustainability long before the modern word as coined.
And beyond these physical features, the house embodies cultural meaning. As the Mabika's Foundation notes, Tinguian homes are more than shelters. They are expression of social values and spiritual beliefs. The openness of the structure encourages airflow but also symbolizes openness to community and kinship. Every aspect of the house shows how the Tinguian way of building integrates daily life, environment, and cultural identity. By constructing this model, we do more than recreate a house. We highlight the Tinguian people's resourcefulness, adaptability, and wisdom. In today's modern world, this design challenges us to reconsider architecture as more than function and style. It is a call for us to see homes as vessels of heritage, spaces that reflect who we are, what we value, and how we connect with the land. Ultimately, this project is a tribute to the Tinguian tribe. It is also a reminder of the importance of preserving the indigenous knowledge so that their legacy continues to inspire us today and guide future generations towards a more sustainable and culturally grounded way of living.
So, adding more to their conclusion, the Tinguan tribe, which we know which is also known as the Integ people, is definitely one of the Philippines' most distinctive indigenous groups that resides mainly in the rugged and forested province of Abra and Northern Luzon, which is shown from our presentation of our building. That's what we used as the background. So their culture, traditions, and way of life reflects a deep connection to nature, which is also shown in our presentation, and ancestral wisdom and community values. Throughout centuries of changes, the Tinguan have preserved their indigenous identity from their spiritual beliefs to their rich and oral traditions, and of course, their creative crafts. As we know, one of the most remarkable aspects of the Tinguan culture is their traditional houses. So, building methods which we clearly showed in our house. we stick true to the original design and looks of the Tinguan's houses and their origins that the Tinguan tribe while the Tinguan tribe shows, while also showing their materials, and while but also including modern materials for its durability and of course its aesthetics. This shows their ingenuity and harmony with the natural environment, and the Tinguan houses are, as we know, it's typically uses local sustainable materials. That is also included in our designs, which are bamboo, hardwood, and cogon grass or nipa palm. That is explained by my group mates. These houses are not just dwellings, but are expressions of the Tinguan's craftsmanship, adaptation, and their communal lifestyles, and they are known as home building that is often shared effort involving relatives and neighbors alike. So I will now pass the spotlight to my groupmate Hazel for further explanations.
So, for the summary of Tinguian tribe, the Tinguian, also known as Itnek, are indigenous group primarily residing in Abra in the northern Cordillera region of the Philippines. They are known for their rich cultural heritage, deeply rooted in traditions, rituals, and strong community values. Their history reflects a harmonious relationship with nature, as seen in their agricultural practices, craftsmanship, and spiritual beliefs. The Tingian people uphold a vibrant identity through their weaving, music, dances, and oral literature, which preserve their ancestral wisdom. They believe in spirits and deities that guide the daily life, highlighting their deep respect for the environment and the unseen world. Despite external influences and modernization, the Tingian have retained much of their culture, serving as living symbols of resilience and identity among the indigenous people of the Philippines. One of their most notable cultural practices is the art of weaving, producing colorful textiles with intricate patterns that represent stories, beliefs, and status in the community. Their clothing, often decorated with beads and ornaments, symbolizes their artistry and strong connection to tradition. Festivals and rituals are also remain central, where chants, dances, and offerings are performed to honor spirits and maintain balance between the people and nature. The Tingian are also known for their hospitality, unity, and strong kinship ties. Their tradition emphasizes collective responsibility, respect for elders, and the importance of preserving harmony within the community. These values, passed on from generation to generation, continue to shape their way of life even today. The Tingian tribe embodies a legacy of tradition, spirituality, and artistry that continues to thrive, reflecting both their history and their enduring connection to their ancestral lands. They stand as an inspiring example of cultural resilience, keeping their identity alive while adapting to the changes of the modern world.
So that is all for our group reporting about the Tinguan tribe. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you learned a lot in our lesson. So again, my name is Rad Joseph Everdone,
And I am Churchill Paronda.
I am Hazel de los Reyes.
And I'm Charlene D. Demeterio.
and that's all guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Group A.